Alright, so in front of you, you should have the section 5 study guide. And yeah, let's just jump into it. Consider the equation f of x equals x squared minus 4x minus 32. And one of the zeros of the functions is x equals negative 4. What is the other zero? So when we're talking about zeros, remember we're talking about the roots. So how do we set this up? Remember, you make your x. The number 32 goes at the top, the negative 32, and the negative 4 goes on the bottom. So again, you always take the middle number and the last number. Now we need to figure out what multiplies to negative 32 but also adds to negative 4. Actually, they've already given us an answer here. So one of our answers is 4. Now 4 times what gives you negative 32? Well, 8 does. Now remember, if this number is negative, then the bigger number has to be negative. But notice how they said x is negative 4. So when you're given an answer like x, when you're trying to find x, because what you would do is x plus 4 and x minus 8. All you're going to do is take the opposite. So if the number is positive, your answer is going to be negative, like this answer. So this is a negative 8, which means the other zero is going to be positive 8. And that's the answer for number 1. Alright, let's move on to number 2. Rewrite the function k of x equals 2x squared plus 16x plus 24 to reveal the zeros of the function. So first of all, it's given us right here already some of the problem done. The problem was 2x squared plus 16x plus 24. And notice how the 2 is on the outside. The reason the 2 is on the outside is because the 2 is the greatest common factor. So they've taken 2 out. So you're going to divide all of these numbers by 2. So that gives you x squared, because 2 divided by x squared is, 2x squared divided by 2 is x squared. 16 divided by 2 is 8. Don't forget the x. And then the 24 divided by 2 is just going to be your 12. Alright, so now all we need to do is make our x. 12 goes at the top, 8 goes at the bottom. Blank times blank gives you 12. So what times what gives you 12 but also adds to 8? Well, 6 and 2. 6 times 2 gives you 12. 6 plus 2 gives you 8. So right here, you're going to have 6 and you're going to have 2. Now remember how I told you, you just take the opposite for the answers. So if this is a positive 6, it's going to be a negative 6. If this is a positive 2, it's going to be a negative 2. Alright, move on to number 3. Fill in the blanks to make the equation true. So remember, this is x times x, and then x times blank. For these problems, it's really easy. All you're going to do, figure this out. 2 times what gives you 6? 2 times what gives you 6? Well, 2 times 3. 2 times 3 gives you 6. So your answer here is 3. Let's move on to the next one. X squared plus blank x minus 25 equals this. So negative 5 times 5 is negative 25. Now how do I find this middle number? Well, this middle number is just this number plus this number. So 5 minus 5, or negative 5 plus 5. 5 minus 5 or negative 5 plus 5. It's the same answer. You owed somebody $5, but you paid them back $5. How much money do you owe them? Nothing. $0. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Remember, this is the last box right here. This is the last area. So what two numbers are we multiplying? The last two. 3 times negative 2. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. But notice they're trying to trick you. There's already a negative. So it's just a 6. Move on to the next one. 20x squared minus 45x plus 10 equals this. So 2 times negative 1. 2 times negative 1. What's 2 times negative 1? Well, 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. But remember, if I wanted to figure out the last number, that's this one, I multiply these two. So how do I go from a 2 times blank gives you 10? 2 times what gives you 10? Well, 2 times 5. So this answer here is 5. Next one. This is the first number. So what would you multiply here? Well, you'd multiply the first two here. 3 times negative 4 is what? Negative 12. Okay. Last but not least, this one. 9x squared plus 3x minus 30 equals 3 parentheses blank x minus 5 and x plus 2. So this one's a little bit more difficult. First thing you want to do is let's take away this 3. So I want to divide all of these numbers by this 3. That leaves you with 9 divided by 3 is 3. Don't forget the x squared. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Don't forget the x. And 30 divided by 3 is, or negative 30 divided by 3 is a negative 10. Okay? So now, all I need to do is figure out what number goes in this box. So I divided these all by 3. So how do I get this 3x squared? So blank times x gives you 3x squared. Again, blank times x gives you 3x squared. Well, just 3. 3 times x gives you 3x squared. And there's your answer. Alright, next one. Which of the following expressions are equivalent to 36n to the third power minus 100n? So all you're going to do is you're going to multiply the outside number to the inside numbers. 2n times 18n squared. Well, 2 times 18 is 36. N times n squared is n to the third power. Then I don't forget the next one. 2 times negative 50. 2n times negative 50. So 2 times negative 50 is negative 100. And n times nothing is just your n. Does this match? Yeah. Yes, it does. Let's go ahead and let's do the next one. Let's take care of the parentheses first. So I do 9n to the third times 2. So 9 times 2 is 18. N to the third times n. N to the third times n is n to the fourth. Right off the bat, I don't have an n to the fourth here. So because I don't have an n to the fourth, B is incorrect. Next one. Let's take care of the parentheses again. 6n times n. 6 times 6 is 36. N times n is n squared. Let's do the next one. 6n times negative 10. 6 times negative 10 is negative 60. N times nothing is just your n. Now let's do the other one. 10 times 60 is positive 60. And then don't forget your n. 10 times negative 10, well, 10 times negative 10 is 100. Notice something. Your middle numbers are opposite. This is a positive, this is a negative 60. 60 minus 60 is 0. So this has now gone away. You are left with 36n squared minus 100. Do not forget the last part of this problem. There's an n here. So you're going to multiply this final answer by n. So n times 36n squared is 36n to the third power. N times 100 is negative 100n. Now, does that match our beginning? Yes. Alright, let's go ahead and let's do problem 5. Problem number 5. Which expression is equivalent to 32x squared minus 72? So once again, all we're going to do is try and get this off of these answers here. These are very easy because all you're going to do is use the answers to figure out your final answer. So how I would do it is I would take the last two numbers, multiply those two, and then multiply it to the number on the outside to see if it gives us negative 72. So what do I mean by that? I'm going to take the last two numbers and multiply whatever that answer is. So multiply these two numbers. So negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. So again, multiply to get there. And then I take my last number, 8, and I multiply that 9 times 8. Well, 9 times 8 gives me 72, but it's a positive 72. Because it's a positive, this is wrong. Because it's a positive, this is wrong. This has to be a negative. All right, so now let's do the next one. 6 times negative 6. 6 times negative 6 is negative 36. And negative 36 times 2, well, that is in fact negative 72. Therefore, B is my correct answer. Okay, let's move on to question number 2. 6. 24y squared plus 6y minus 9. Select all that apply. So what this means is, let's make our box. Okay. In this box, I can go ahead and, before I get started in the box, I guess I can take away a greatest common factor. So remember, greatest common factor means what number can these all go into. So again, what number can 24, 6, and 9 all have in common? So 24, 6, and 9 all have in common 3. I can divide 3, 3, and 3. Once I divide 3, I put 3 on the outside, and on the inside is going to be my answers. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So this is 8y squared. 6 divided by 3 is 2y. Negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3. Okay, now I can continue my box. So remember how the box works? The box works as you take your first term and you put it in the first box. You take your last term and you put it in the last box. Okay, then I like to do my x. So I do 8 times negative 3. So I multiply these two right across from each other, and I go ahead and I put that number on the top of my box. So again, 8 times negative 3 is negative 24. Then I go ahead and I take my my middle number, which is the 2, and I place that 2 at the bottom. So again, you take your two numbers, you multiply those, put it at the top, and you put the middle number and you put it at the bottom. So now I got to figure out what multiplies to 24, but also adds to 2. So 24, let's see, 24 divided by 6, 6 and 4. Can 6 and 4 give me 2? Well, 6 plus 4 doesn't give me 2, but if I do 6 minus 4, that could work. 6 minus 4 gives you the 2. So here we go. Now I found my two answers. What do I do with these two answers? Well, I put them in the box. Again, it doesn't matter which box you put it in. I'm going to put 6 here and negative 4 here. One thing you don't want to forget is don't forget your y's. All right. So next thing I like to do is figure out, what does the first row have in common? What does 8 and negative 4? Is there a number that they share? Well, they share the number 2. They share actually an even bigger number, 8 and 4 share 4. Sorry about that. 8 can be divided by 4, and 4 can be divided by 4. So that works. Do they share anything else? Well, they both have y's. Okay, so now all I need to do is 4 times what gives you 8? 4 times what gives you 8? Well, 4 times 2. Again, 4 times 2 gives you the 8. And then y times what gives you y squared? Y times blank gives you y squared, while y times y gives you y squared. All right, let's continue. 4 times what gives you negative 4? 4 times what gives you negative 4? Well, minus 1. 4 times negative 1 gives you negative 4. Last row, blank times 2 gives you 6y. Well, 3 times 2 gives you 6, and then the y. So now my answer is 4y plus 3, because that's this part. And then I take the top row, which is 2y minus 1. And those two are my answers. Don't forget to bring back the 3 right there. This is your final answer, 3. So there's the B. 4y plus 3, D. And 2y minus 1, F. So B, D, and F are your correct answers.